In this class, we can study about economic reforms since 1991. Already we studied about 5-year plans, industrial development, agricultural development in last classes. But for our syllabus, in our reduced syllabus, from chapter 3 onwards only is there for examination. Okay, here then after 40 years of planned development, India has been able to achieve a strong industrial base and became self-sufficient in the production of food. Okay. Then in 1991, a crisis in the balance of payment led to the introduction of new economic policy. Okay, we can go through what is new economic policy. New economic policy means liberalization, privatization and globalization. Okay, then LPG means liberalization, privatization, globalization. That one is the new economic policy. Okay, in this chapter we can study about some new economic policies and how the new economic policy came into effect in our country. Okay, then India was in economic crisis. Crisis in India is figured out because of the inefficient management of the Indian economy in 1980s. We know in 1980s economic inefficiency was there. Due to that one, we started this new economic policy. The revenue generated by the government were not adequate to meet the growing expenses. So the government resorted borrowing to pay for its debts and was caught is a debt trap. Okay, we called it as a debt trap. Deficit refers to the excess government expenditure over its revenue. It is a excess. Okay, means deficit means we know, suppose more than revenue, government have more expenditure, then deficit will come. Then deficit was more in that time. Okay, different causes of economic crisis. Okay, different causes of economic crisis are given as: first one, the continued spending on development programs of the government did not generate additional revenue. Okay, government was trying to spend more money for government programs, but it didn't generate revenue. The government was not able to generate sufficient funds from internal sources such as taxation. From taxation, government was not able to generate any money. Expenditure on areas like social sector and defense do not provide immediate returns, so there was a need to utilize the rest of its revenue in a highly effective manner, which the government failed to do. Means government was spending more money for defense and not providing. We know if we are spending more money for defense, it will not give a returns. So there was a need to utilize the rest of its revenue highly effective manner. The income from public sector undertaking was also not very high to meet the growing expenditure. From then from that time in public sector undertaking was also not very high to meet the growing expenditure. Then foreign exchange borrowed from other countries and international financial institution was spent on meeting consumption needs and to make repayments on other loans. Foreign exchange borrowed from other countries and international institutions spent meeting consumption needs to make repayments on other loans. We know we had loans, that one also need to pay that time. Okay, no effort was made to reduce such increased spending, and sufficient attention was not given to boost the economy. Means there was a lot of problem was there in economy. Foreign exchange also was in problem. Then there was no attention given to boost export to pay for economic needs. Okay, we know when export increasing, automatically our balance of payment and this adverse effect will go. Okay, then that time, due to these reasons, there are lot of reasons, then there was a need for economic crisis. The economic policy followed by the government up to 1990 failed in many aspects and landed the country in an unprecedented economic crisis. The situation was so alarming that India's reserve of foreign exchange were basically enough to pay for 2 weeks of imports. Means the situation was alarming and India's reserve of foreign exchange were enough to pay for 2 weeks of imports. New loans were not allowable. New loans were not available and NRIs were withdrawing large amounts. There was an erosion of confidence international investors in the Indian economy. The following points highlights the need for economic reforms in the country. First one, increasing fiscal deficit. What was the first reason? It was increasing fiscal deficit. Adverse effect on balance of payment. Means balance of payment, we will study later. What is balance? Export and import, that one should be equal. Okay, payment should be equal to our, means in accountancy you can study. Then Gulf crisis, then rise in prices and poor performance of public sector units, high rate of deficit financing, collapse of Soviet bloc. These were the main reason these were the main need for economic reforms. Okay, then we started the new economic policy to liberalize and open up our economy by removing lot of restrictions. Fall in foreign exchange reserves, inflationary spiral, poor performance of public sector units, high burden of debt, and inefficient management of the Indian economy. These were the real factors prompted to new economic policy. Okay, then because of this much of deficit, they need to revise the policy. Then balance of payment crisis was there. Then foreign exchange reserve was reducing. Then inflation, we know what is inflation. Prices are increasing. Then that situation was there. Public sector unit was performing very badly. Then high burden of debt. Debt was more. Then inefficient management of the Indian economy. Then these were the reason for then India was facing lot of financial problems. Because of that one, India approached the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, popularly known as World Bank, and the IMF, International Monetary Fund, okay, and received a $7 billion as loan to manage this crisis. Okay, for availing the loan, these international agencies were giving some restrictions or imposing some restrictions on the some policies, like removing restrictions on the private sector, then reduce the role of government in many areas, removed trade restrictions between India and other countries. These were the conditions. These were the conditions of IMF or IBRD. Okay, then India started new economic policy. It consisted wide range of economic reforms. Okay, the policies can be classified into two groups, especially the stabilization measures and structural reform measures. These were the main reforms, and these measures were short term, intended to create some weakness that have developed balance of payment. We know balance of payment was not satisfactory, and inflation was there. For controlling all these situations, some stabilization measures was there, structural reform resources and the stabilization measures. Okay, then these policies were especially were focused on reducing the inflation. Okay, on the other hand, structural reform policies are long-term measures aimed at improving efficiency of the economy and increasing international competitiveness, removing the rigidities in various segments of the Indian economy. The government initiated a variety of policies which then main policies was liberalization, privatization and globalization. Okay, liberalization refers to the freedom of the economy from the direct controls imposed by the government, means completely free from all the restrictions and all the controls imposed by the government. That one was the liberalization. Then another one, like ശശിമാമനെ വിളിച്ചിട്ട് മറ്റേ അളവെടുക്കണ കാര്യം ചോദിച്ചു. ശശിമാമൻ എന്നുള്ളതിൽ 75 സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യണേല് വിളിച്ചാൽ മതി. Globalization, it means integrating the national economy with the world economy through removal of barriers on international trade and capital movements. Means globalization means integrating the whole economy, means each and every country integrating together for means for removing the barriers of international trade and capital movements. Means trade and capital movements like investment, foreign investment, for all these things we need to promote the globalization. Okay, then integrating national economy with the world economy through the removal of barriers in international trade and capital movement called as globalization. Then liberalization, privatization, globalization. Then reforms due to liberalization. Financial sector reforms. Financial sector includes financial institutions such as commercial banks, investment banks, stock exchange operation and foreign exchange market. Like these institutions were especially they were liberalizing their policies, and especially these institutions are under the control of Reserve Bank of India, and this financial sector in India is, we know this one, financial sector in India is regulated by Reserve Bank of India, and these all the policies are regulated, and especially this foreign exchange market, stock exchange operation, all these policies liberalized due to this policy. Okay, then liberalization means in all these financial sectors. Then one of the major aims of financial sector refers the role of RBI from regulator to facilitator of financial sector. From regulator it changed to facilitator. Okay. This means that financial sector may be allowed to take decisions on many matters without consulting the Reserve Bank of India. Means all other banks or financial institutions got freedom to take decisions. Okay, then foreign institutional investors such as merchant bankers, mutual funds and pension funds are now allowed to invest in Indian financial system. Then the reforms policies led to the establishment of private sector bank Indian as well as foreign. Means after these policies, foreign banks also started, private sector banks, Indian private sector banks as well as foreign private sector banks started in